Hello, my name is Britt, short for Brittany.
Hey, my name is Gloria. Just call me Gloria.
this this podcast is called The Whispers. This podcast is going to be basically about things that we weren't told when we were little and we had to learn. Um, Throughout the years, I myself am 30, I'm 29, turning 30 this year. So it's getting kind of rough.
No, it's not. You're good. For me, this podcast really is about the whispers of the heart, like things that we have gone through in our experience. Brittany's 29, I'm 28. So we're both about to be 30, and we've experienced so many things in life that it's crazy. And it's just like we felt the need to share, to help other people heal, to help other people hear our experiences,
Hmm.
and really just to mend some hearts out there. That's
Yeah, I
it.
agree. Definitely amend some hearts, especially for younger girls that just don't have a sense of, I'll say, a little bit of direction, or
Yeah.
you grew up in certain households. Like for me, I grew up with my mother, but my mother didn't really teach me certain things.
And me, it was the
And
opposite.
I had to learn on the way, even though my grandmother was a big figure in my life.
Mm.
She wasn't.
Shout out to the grandmoms out
Right,
there raising little
shout out to the
kids.
grandmoms. She wasn't a, I don't want to say a girly girl, but she didn't tell me when I was little that, like, hey, you need to have your hair, nails, and feet done.
Mm.
Right? She mostly was more worried because she is definitely a Baptist woman. She was more worried about if I had a sweater on with my shoulders out in the Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't really worried about those things, or she was worried about me wearing a coat or not. So even though having that figure of a mother, and also my mother at times, it wasn't, what can I say? It wasn't told to me that you need to have all these things done.
Mm.
And I've talked to people and they're like, "Oh, that's just basic hygiene." I get
And I'm
it.
like, well, listen, I had to learn on my own.
Right. Like I
Like,
definitely get that, but my grandmother always had her nails and
mm-hmm.
feet done,
Right.
right?
But it's
But
like
she
if it's
never
not
told
said
me
to
to.
you, it's not
Right.
really something you're paying attention to.
Right. And I realized that, like, oh, I need to get this done. And I actually will confess that I have not started to get my hair, nails, and feet done all the time until my sister, who was 24, and she told me that I need to have those done. She was like, "You getting too old not to have them done." And I was like, you're not right. You're not wrong. So I started with my feet, get my feet done. And then that went for a year or two. And then after that, I was like, you know what? My nails just keep breaking. So then I decided to get my nails done. But I will say the one thing that I always did have done was my eyebrows.
Okay.
Nothing else was probably done, but my eyebrows was
Mm-hmm.
done. I will say that, and my hair was always in braids.
Gotcha.
So,
So for me, it was the opposite. Like I was raised by, for a small period of time, I was raised by my dad. My mom really wasn't in my life, which we have healed all of that. But my dad was in jail, ended up going to jail. So I was raised by my grandparents. And my grandparents were in probably what, their 60s, 70s at that time. So they was already up there.
right.
I would definitely say, and I completely attached to the label, I'm an old soul.
Okay.
All right, to the core. I will take some old classical music over hearing some music in our day and age. But with that being said, being raised by my grandmom, she same thing as you. Like she was really focused on make sure you got on these tights and these stockings when you go on to school. Make sure your shirt is pressed and primped. And she taught me like the basics. But after she passed away, and she was like my main mother figure, my dad raised me,
Hmm.
and he really like I kind of pushed him to it. I told him, I said, don't look at me as if I'm just like a daughter. Like, however you would have raised your son, I want you to raise me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because people kind of looked at it like, oh, she's a girl. She can't do this. She can't do that. I was really skinny as a kid. So it was kind of just like, oh, she's weak. She can't really do much. And I took that as offensive. I'm like,
Hmm.
I could do anything that a boy can do. So dad raised me like a boy,
And you know
basically.
what's crazy is that, like, when I was younger, I was
Mm-hmm.
always plus size, so people
Uh-huh.
thought that I could do all the like heavy lifting,
Mm-hmm.
or I could do all the like crazy boy stuff. And
Gotcha.
I feel like that was only because because I was big.
I
Like it
understand.
wasn't. It wasn't. There was no thought to think like, oh, this is a young girl. It was
Right.
more like,
It's like
hey,
they just see you for what you look like on the outside. It's like, do you care
right,
about my personality type? Do you care about the being that's in front of you, my feelings?
right.
So it's like, with that being said, with him basically raising me more so in the masculine, I was basically growing up more so in the masculine. I wasn't attached to the feminine side, the girly girl.
Mm.
I was a fucking tomboy. I was out there playing football with the boys, fucking
Same.
rolling in the grass, because it was kind of almost like, it was fun, but it was like I wanted to prove myself, like, yeah, I can do just anything that the boys do.
Right.
I
Same.
didn't get into that feminine side until I actually started going into high school and into college and trying to figure that out on my own.
Right.
So with that being said, our backstories is really to just show like how we've learned things on our own, what things weren't taught to us, what things are not obvious, and the things that people didn't teach you are obvious. It's not.
It's
That's
not.
it.
It's not. And
It's really not.
I think a lot of not being obvious has definitely shaped me very abnormally
Mm,
because my father could give like, less than two shits what I was doing.
I
But my
understand.
mom, if I was interested in something, she wouldn't even remember what I was doing.
Mm.
Like it didn't matter. Like for example, for my like I will say like I was the nerdy kid that wanted to learn like nerd I don't want to say nerd things like anime and everything, or I wanted to be into Legos, but my my mother always just brought me brats.
Oh, I fucking love Bratz.
Yeah, I know.
That
I
is
love
my
brats too,
child.
but to
Bratz and Barbie
think
for
back
real.
at like now that I'm older and all I do is buy myself Lego sets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, girl, why didn't you buy me sets? And there's actually
Right, like she
pictures,
didn't see what you really
right?
liked.
And there's actually pictures of me building toy Lego set trains
That's dope.
when I was little, and just to not even see that and to be like, oh, I need to probably, you know,
Get back
see
to
what else
that.
my kid is interested in
Mm.
is like crazy. Because also when I like even a time in middle school, I wanted to learn how to play the drums,
Nice.
and I learned how to play the drums in middle school. That's
So
Luna.
yeah, we're not alone. Our my daughter dog Luna is walking around playing with her toys. So if you hear her in the background, just let it be. I'm sorry.
um, Even when I was little, I wanted to learn how to play the drums, and I did, but it was like this weird way of like bucket drums or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were like, "Okay, well, like, why can't you do a sport?"
Mm.
And it was like, "But I'm interested in this."
Right.
And the only reason they want me to do sports is because they wanted me to lose weight. And it was just
That's
like,
crazy.
I know, right? But that was the only reason. It was never anything
And
else.
did they say that, or that's just like the
I
vibe
heard
that
them
they kept
talking,
giving
like
you?
I would hear them
That's
over,
fucked
like
up.
talking, like a lot of conversations that I heard about, like when my parents talk about me, it's always
Mm-hmm.
like it's either in my face or I hear it.
Mm.
So I'm not
I'm sorry
really
you went through that.
too shocked. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I say it's all right now only because I went through it.
Mm.
But as a child hearing that and then thinking that it's your responsibility to have to do that. Mind you, I'm
Imprints
in
on
middle
you.
school.
The imprints on you
Right,
heavy.
I'm in middle school and I decided to go out for softball. But like if my parents knew me, I can't run for shit.
Mm.
Like I'm a slow runner. So I was in like right field
Mm-hmm.
my whole life in softball from like sixth grade to eighth or whatever. Hi
I
Luna.
understand that. So, with that background, how would you say you got through re I'm trying to figure out the term that I want to use. Reiterating yourself to be the woman that you wanted to be. Like how, like let's talk about the process or some of the things that we went to really find ourselves and to remove that idea of how of the impression people put on us as a kid.
I will say it took a lot of soul searching.
Yeah, that's an
It took
understatement. A lot is an
it took
understatement.
so much.
28 years and we just now like, all right, I think I could talk about some stuff.
Right. For nobody, like a lot of people don't know. When I was younger, I was abused by my parents. So it was always verbal abuse, but like with my dad, it was a physical.
Mm.
But to get out of that hole of somebody telling you that you're like in a way not good enough, but not saying that,
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard because I had to build up my own self esteem. There
Mm-hmm.
was never a time where my mom was feeding into that, or like she would say like, "Oh, you're pretty, you're a
Like she
pretty
was never giving you
girl."
positive
Yeah, it
feedback.
was always like, "You're a pretty girl for a big girl," and it was just like, "What?"
What's with the extra
I
in
don't
part?
know. I
Like,
never understood that. So I was just like, oh, that's not like a comment. But as time went on and I started putting up like my own boundaries,
mm-hmm.
and that's when it started
True,
to,
boundaries is a whole nother
I know
conversation, girl.
boundaries is another conversation. But once I started putting up boundaries with my mom and my dad,
Mm-hmm.
that's when things started to go the right way. And I will say, what it looks for the right way for me is me not speaking to my parents.
Okay,
It's for me, not even, well, for my parents knowing for a fact, don't bring up certain conversations with me
got you.
because
And I'm
you
sure it took
can't.
multiple conversations to get to that
It
point,
did. It
right?
took a lot of yelling, a lot of like, listen, this is not what's going to be. It took a lot of me not answering my phone.
Mm.
It took a lot because
Not
only
answering the phone is so hard for me.
it is. But now that I am where I am now,
Mm-hmm.
is not that hard, and it took a long time for my mom to get there.
Got you.
But she's there now. But my dad just got there, where he now understands. Like when he calls my phone, immediately he says, "I'm not calling to argue."
Okay, but that's a
So
start.
it's like, all
It's
right,
like, all right, this
that
is
that's
a
that's
he's kind of
cool,
meeting you where you at, like
right,
or letting you know where he's coming from
right. But
from the
my
jump.
dad, pretty much, even though he's a black man, has these pre notions about my sister and I,
Mm.
and it's only because of, I will say, the dynamic from my parents is that my dad came from a wealthy family, my mom did not,
Mm.
and my dad sees my sister and I as less. Even though we're half of him, we're less because we were predominantly with our mother.
Mm-hmm. So he
So
just was like, I'm just gonna associate y'all with your mom, and that's
right, so he
it.
believed that like Whitney was going, like Whitney is my sister. Whitney was going to have children at a young age. So he really pushed
Like the
my mom.
stereotype.
Yeah, pushed my mom to get her like abortion, like not abortion, on birth control very early.
Mm.
Like, and now Whitney is hormonally like messed up.
That's another conversation we need
Yeah,
to
that's
have
another
about birth
conversation as
control.
well. Birth control when you need it. And for me, they felt as though I remember when I wanted to get on birth control, way when Whitney and I are 5 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
But when I wanted to get on birth control, they thought I was doing it so I could have unprotected sex. But even though medical records and my mom knows that I have
Mm-hmm.
heavy periods where I had to wear two pads all the time, 7 days,
Mm-hmm.
and they never thought like we should get into it. But my mom would tell me, this is where like I will say like some neglect happened, is that my mom would tell me, well, you should be talking to your doctor about like your period and everything.
And not
But
her.
I'm pretty young. I
Right.
got my period at the age of 10. No, 11, 10.
I think I got mine at 12.
Yeah. So I got mine young, and we realized it was a heavy period. And my
Mm.
mom was like, well, you need to talk to your doctor about that. And it was
Mm.
just like, girl.
Right. Like, you just gonna leave you to figure this shit out on your
Yeah,
own?
yeah. Like
That's crazy.
I was like, ah, okay. I was like, great. So that's like one of the moments where it's just like, oh, okay. But then when I got on birth control, because I
Mm-hmm.
was told that birth control could
It could help regulate it,
it could
decrease
help
it.
regulate it. It could make it like less, but it wasn't less. It was just lighter. It was. I mean, it was. When I say lighter, I mean lighter in color,
Okay.
not lighter
The flow.
in flow. I still had to wear
Gotcha.
two pads. It didn't matter.
I
Like, and I
understand.
used to love. I used to like be so envious of the girlies that could
Mm-hmm.
do like one pad. No, I got two pads on,
I
and that was
gotcha.
before I found out about diapers.
Right. Now
I know
listen,
that
you
sounds
use
so
what you, it
crazy,
don't sound crazy to me.
but
Listen, you use what you got to use,
it
because
worked.
I have family members who had extreme period flows where they had to get operations done, or different changes in birth control, and it ended up being like hormonal. Some is from fibroids. It's a lot that goes on. And listen,
Yep,
it's like just to fucking go outside,
yep.
just to go outside is a struggle. It's like, wait, I need to freaking strap up, basically.
Do you know how many
So
pads I needed? Like for the day.
when you got
Oh
to, oh, go ahead, say that part, and I got a
no, no.
question
I'm
for
just
you.
saying for the day it was crazy.
So when you got to the point where your mom realized how you want to be treated and talked to, where your dad realized how you wanted to be treated and talked to, was there a moment where you were like, okay, goal achieved?
No,
No.
because I'm still cursing my parents out every day.
No, right.
Or like Well, technically, I'm a truck driver, so I'm only home 2 days out the week.
Mm.
So usually
But even in those
it's
2 days,
yeah, even
it's
in those 2 days extension,
mm.
because I literally um had to let my mom know one day is that actually, I mean, for a little bit of backstory, my mother has a issue. She's a shopaholic,
Mm.
so she has an issue with spending money. And one time she stopped paying the bills.
I remember you said
Yep,
that.
she stopped paying the bills, and this is in the beginning of my trucking career, and I've been trucking for 2 years. And she's calling me while driving in Texas, and she's like, "Oh, they're about to like turn the gas off
Like,
and the
so
electric."
are you gonna pay the bill?
I
Like
was like,
what?
"So what happened there?" And then she
Right.
was like, "Oh, I just stopped paying it." I was like, "Why though?" She didn't really have a response,
Crazy.
and in that
Crazy.
moment, I told her, because my mom used to ask me for money even when I didn't have money, and I would still give it to her.
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, I told her, I will pay this off, but you can never ask me for money again, ever."
I understand it because your sister was living with her too, so it's like you
Sister
couldn't
was
just
living
say
with her
no
too,
because
right?
your
I
sister would
can't
have been,
just
and
say no to
she
that.
she was in college at this time.
She was in college at this time, but I still couldn't say no to that because, again, for a little backstory, again, as I've said that like when I was younger, I was abused or whatever and
Mm.
neglected. My mom, when I was a very young age, she stopped buying like basic things
Right, like
like
you.
toilet paper, deodorant, anything a girl needs,
Mm.
lotion, soap,
It's horrible.
pads. And then once I turned 18, but Whitney was still 15, she stopped buying food
You were going through all this in high
in
school.
high
That's
school.
wild.
And a lot of people didn't know. And a lot of people I will say, in high school used to be so weird to me
About
and wonder
what?
why I was always very isolated or had one friend.
No, I
And
didn't think it was weird. I was like, oh,
huh?
that's just
Well,
Brittany.
a lot of people did though. Like, and they didn't know that like I was going through it at home, and I wasn't at school a lot either. And I wasn't at school a lot because I just didn't have the energy to
Deal
get
with
up and go
that
to school.
on top of everything.
Yeah, and a lot, and my parents didn't notice that
Mm.
because I remember like our teacher, like, do you remember? I'll I'll cut her name out, but do you remember Mrs. Roseman? Well,
Yeah,
actually,
she's still
they don't know
there.
who she is.
Right.
Yeah, Miss Roseman. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was talking about failing me out of English because I wasn't attending school,
Oh, I
and I
didn't
was
know
like,
that.
girl, I got too much to worry about at home, but I still
Right.
ended up passing.
That's good.
But
Did you end up explaining to her or end up talking to anyone, a therapist, about what you were
uh,
going through at
no,
school? Not even the counselor, Miss Adams, what's her
no.
name?
Funny
Mm.
story about her, but no. Yeah, I got funny stories about her too. That's
Oh
why I'm like, no.
gosh. She was chill.
She was chill, but like, I could tell
That's
she not for
cool.
us.
I got you.
And when I say by that, she not for the children that are of color.
No.
Because when that whole thing with like Kaepernick happened or whatever,
Calvin?
yeah, the football player
Oh,
Calvin
yeah.
Kaepernick, when
Yeah.
he took a knee.
I thought you were talking about our
No, no,
Calvin.
no, 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 not
And I
Calvin.
was like, what the
No,
heck
no, I'm talking about the
happened
football
to
player. This
Calvin?
is after we graduated and
Got you. What
everything.
about it?
I made a whole post about it,
Uh-huh.
saying like y'all need to start listening to people because like this is serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like police brutality against people of color, black people, is serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically said like I'm okay with him taking a knee.
Right. But
As long as it's not disrespectful, I'm okay because that's our right.
but what did she
So
do
she
or
commented under
say?
the post saying like I'm unfriending you because it's crazy, and
What?
she got children in the military. Mind you, my dad's a Marine,
Wow. She
and
said I'm unfriending
I put
you.
that in the
Why
story saying that
she
my dad was a Marine, and when we would go to school when we were in middle school, he would drive us in a Mercedes, and the police would stop him all the time
That's
and say that his
ridiculous.
car was stolen.
That's ridiculous that she would unfriend you. But regardless, I mean, one, that's petty. That's weird at the end of the day. And two, it shows that she is very I don't want to say simple minded. She's very narrow minded. That's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for regarding it. And long story short, I don't think she's even working at the school anymore.
I'm not surprised because I can tell she like knowing what we know now about
Police
politics.
brutality. Oh.
She was a Trumper. I can see that off rip,
Mm.
off rip.
Yes,
So
and this is just to clarify: we are not Trump supporters.
We're not Trump
If you are a
supporters.
Trump supporter and you are offended, sorry, not
Yeah,
sorry.
this isn't the podcast for you
This is
because
not the podcast for you. Please move
I,
on. Click next.
yeah, I could never see the other side only due to the degree of what's happening right now.
Yeah. So we are Black Lives Matter.
But
All Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, of course. LGBT friendly. Listen, everybody deserves to be who they are at the end of the
yeah,
day. And we're respectful of that.
and let's also clarify that when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not saying that nobody else lives
Mm-hmm.
matter. In this moment of time, we are saying that Black Lives Matter because certain individuals are treating them as if they don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it. Short and simple.
Short and
So,
simple.
yeah.
But yeah,
Man.
because
You went through a lot. So
I did.
did you go to therapy at all afterwards?
I have not been to therapy, and I think
Do you want to?
I do want to. I believe in therapy. I do want to go into therapy. It's just that I know people are going to hate when I say this.
What?
I feel like when the time is right, it's
Mm.
only when I'm in a peaceful setting. I'm not in a peaceful setting right now.
I'm not gonna hate. I don't hate that you say that, but I really hope that you eventually change your mind because there's never, just like there's never a right moment to have a kid, start a podcast, to go and travel the world. There's never a right time to start therapy. Seriously, like it's when you find your person, you find your person. For those of you out there who are looking for a therapist, you can definitely go on psychologytoday.com. That's not sponsored. I just know that you can go on that website and you can find a therapist that you like based on ethnicity, based on race, based on religion. They actually cover insurances, so you can put your insurance on there. And for myself, I actually speak to a shaman who actually does therapy services by donation because listen, therapy is expensive. Not gonna lie, it's expensive as crap. So being able to afford one session is like $125 for some people. And even with my insurance, doing one session was like $100.
Damn.
Like it was cheaper, but it wasn't that much cheaper. But dealing with this spiritual person that I speak to, and I can definitely attach her information, she has been the most genuine, kind, understanding, and forthcoming of information person that I've ever experienced talking to. And she's been so helpful with my healing because I had suffered from depression, anxiety, not wanting to be here, all of the 9 yards. And she's helped me through that along with other tools. So I do hope that eventually, Brittany,
I think I'll get there.
you will get there.
Well, I think I definitely will get there because I definitely do believe that I have complex PTSD. And also, for anybody that doesn't know, I have undiagnosed ADHD and autism and OCD. Don't even like, and I had to like figure that out myself. But there were definitely signs when I was little, and this will go back again to neglect.
And
my
they don't
parents
teach us about these signs,
right? And my parents didn't think to, get that looked at.
Right.
That's it.
They were really just
yeah. They
themselves.
didn't even think to get that looked at, and I was just like, oh, okay. Finding this out when I'm older is like kind of crazy because I had to like make my own coping mechanisms of how to get through life and everything. But
you think it's easier being like as an adult understanding what you have gone through and figuring out how to fix it versus being told when you were younger, like, hey, this is what you have, and trying to figure it out then?
I think it's like I think the comprehension behind it is better because I'm older. It's like, all right, I know I have this, but what are the steps to get better? When if you told me that when I was little, I wouldn't have known what that was.
Gotcha.
But complex PTSD comes from like trauma happening, and then you get older and you realize like, oh, this is an issue.
Right. You figure out all your triggers and everything.
Right. And when I was little, I had all the signs of like ADHD. No, well, not ADHD because back when I was little, in 1995 and up, they those were still new things that were happening. And ADHD, what we have recently found out, is different in younger girls than it is in boys. So they wouldn't have known I had that. I found that out literally a couple of years ago. And then with autism, definitely probably knew I had that. It definitely runs in my family. I will definitely say that I'm just more high functioning. But for example, one big thing of knowing if your child has autism is T-Rex arms. And one thing I used to have.
What is T-Rex
arms? I know
arms,
T-Rex
girl?
arms is so funny. So have you seen a T-Rex and their arms are like this?
Yeah.
I used to hold my hands like this all the time.
I didn't know this.
Not
when
in
you
high
were
school,
younger? Oh,
when
not
I
in high
was
school.
little, and my mom
Okay.
would yell at me saying to put my arms down,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a big sign of
I've
autism.
never heard.
Yeah, and then like
Wow.
when I go to sleep, I still do it.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to sleep, is that like I'll put my like arm under my neck, and that's a form too. But that's like small things. But
I was
also,
gonna be like,
yeah, like
sometimes
also
I
I
have to
got,
sleep like that to be comfortable.
I
I
know,
know I'm
like, but
not,
also
but
I have like texture issues.
mm-hmm.
I wear certain clothing because I don't like the way they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a whole
It's
a whole plethora of things, right? And I don't even want to add that in there, but I don't even want to add being in Legos, right? But building Legos is a thing as well because like, I just have to follow directions. I don't have to think.
It's a therapy.
It's therapy. Okay. Building Legos is like therapy for me, okay. But it's just expensive.
They are.
It's just expensive. Like
but the high quality Johns, yeah.
Yeah, like I even have like emotional support animals. Like I have a cat and a dog, but my dog is mostly for like trucking. Mm-hmm. But my cat in the house is.
Do you have them registered as like emotional support?
I do not, and that's a problem too. They need to be registered, and I'm playing around when it's like $80.
Yeah, that's together.
Yeah, I know when it's like $80, but it's just I think the issue for me is that I feel like I have other things to worry about.
Understood.
And for if I probably wrote them down, I don't have a lot of things to worry about. I think that's also an issue.
You said, wait. You said you have a lot of things to worry about, but you said if you wrote them down, you probably don't have a lot of things to worry about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pause right there.
That's just anxiety.
I have literally just come up with a system for myself, and this is something else that I've learned, that when I've been struggling with either achieving tasks, achieving goals, small things, at times it's so hard for me to just get one thing done. And I would have like a whole day and I would feel like, yo, I don't feel like I did anything freaking productive. So I saw this video and they basically said, if you have a computer, right, and it's working slow, you don't shake the computer or try to download a whole bunch of items to make it go faster. You literally have to change the whole system of the computer or get a new laptop. Meaning for yourself, if you see that something is not working, you don't keep telling yourself, oh, try harder. This won't work. Well, you got to just try harder and do it this other kind of way. Or let me go get this tool. Let me go get that tool. Mm-hmm. It's good to try those things. But if you see they're not working, it's good to just change the whole system, which means change the whole dynamic. For example, like you were talking about with writing down, if you wrote it down, you would be able to see what's like in front of you and if you can get it done. For me, I literally had to start writing stuff out. Like I've started to dedicate small times in the morning, not every morning, but maybe like good 2-3 days out of the week to write down tasks that I want to complete for the day or for the week. When I start having a whole bunch of thoughts in my mind of things that I want to do, I literally write it down on like this big sheet of paper. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, task I will complete. And then I'll just go and cross them out. I'll put dates that I want to achieve them. And even if I don't get to knock them out that week or cross them off the list at all, it's out of my head and onto a piece of paper. And it makes so much more room for clarity for me. And it allows me to actually see, okay, I actually did get some stuff done. I don't need to be stressing because I did like 6 things this week. And that took a lot on top of work, on top of taking care of my pets, on top of helping with my grandfather's finances and things like that. So that's one recommendation I have is just changing the system. Change the way you, I didn't see my necklace on the mic. Changing the way you do things. So for example, getting up in the morning, I've tried changing my alarm to 50 different times. I tried the 50 different sounds, I should say. Moving the phone across the room, it didn't work. The one thing that worked was changing my bedtime and changing what I do at night. So at night, I'm not watching TV or playing the video game right up until I go to bed. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm giving myself at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour to just wind down. Okay. What winding down is, I could be going to make me something to eat for dinner. I could be listening to a podcast. I could just sit and light a candle or just look out the window. I'm a nature girl, so I literally will go outside in the park and lay in the grass. I'll put my little blanket down. That's what me and Luna were doing before you got here. We were just chilling in the grass. I was just looking at the sun through the leaves. We're like, all right, take your time. I'm chilling. So like that's like my like wind down. And it took me a long time to realize what gets me wind down. Because like I can watch anime all night. I can watch my shows and I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm comfortable. But at the end of the day, what I'm watching is still affecting me, if that makes sense. Like I have to give my mind time to be like, all right, okay, let's get back to a sense of calm equilibrium with no outside stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that's been hard for me that I'm happy that I've learned is figuring out what works and what doesn't work, like testing out different things. So, because for me, my anxiety was off the roof. Like my brain was always going,
Yeah.
always. Like
I will
I
say
couldn't sleep.
I have
Yo,
constant
seriously,
spiraling,
couldn't
and it makes no
sleep,
sense.
getting headaches. Like it was literally like my brain wouldn't shut off, and it was actually terrifying, even to the point where I was sleeping. Like I'm having nightmares all of the time, like nightmares that's waking me up and I'm waking up crying. Like my nightmares were atrocious. I come to find out it ended up being because of past traumatic experiences, the food that I was eating, I would say a lot of the fast food that I was eating, a lot of the candy, a lot of the junk that I was eating as a kid. All of that really played into my mental health that I didn't realize.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just like one day I woke up and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna cut all this stuff out, and
Right.
and my brain is just gonna
thing.
be fine. It was like, no, as I progressed through life, people gradually showed me, and I've seen certain things and I tried certain stuff out, and I gradually just cut a bunch of things out of my life. And as soon as I found detoxing, that like pushed it a lot further. I was able to get a lot of the toxins out of my body. And all of a sudden it was just like, oh well, actually I don't want that donut today. Like, oh okay, well, I'm about to not go to Burger King and get this breakfast sandwich because I love their hash brown. I'm not saying the food is nasty.
I get it.
I will yo, Burger King breakfast, McDonald's breakfast, Wendy's burgers. Oh my God. Popeyes, love it all day. I'm not going to hold. But I realized that
Popeyes
I don't want to
have
eat
breakfast.
I know it don't matter, but still.
No, I just thought about that.
Biscuit. They need
what
if
they did bring breakfast?
That'd be crazy. I would fault a little bit. I might fault.
That's what I'm saying. That'd be crazy. No, I definitely know what you mean by that, because I've noticed that like I'll start to eat. The only time I start to eat really, really unhealthy is around when my cycle is about to come on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to eat everything in the world.
So I had to like take that stuff out the house. And I also discovered a new place called Weaver's Way. Weaver's Way Co-op is basically like a fresh supermarket for you to get all fresh food, all natural ingredients. So you can literally still have the same snacks, but it's not toxic. So a bunch of toxic ingredients. Girl, I still got my Pop-Tarts. I'll be tearing Pop-Tarts up.
They got kumquats?
They got, I don't know. I don't eat that, but I'm going to check for you and I'll let you know. They got tons of snacks over there, like for real. Like they got the different types of fruits, they got chips, they got candy, and it's all literally healthy. Like there's no toxic ingredients. So it's like, yo, you can go there and binge and not have to worry about, hey, okay, well, I'm eating this. Do I got to worry about the 50,000 chemicals that's in there that's going to hurt me?
I'm not going to lie. I recently started to eat all natural candy.
Nice.
So it's only like fruit-based candy.
Ooh,
and I'm just like, I was like,
where has this been all my life?
Yeah, it's been all my life. So now I don't eat regular candy. Mm-hmm. And if I do eat regular candy, it's only if I'm like, I got to really be in the mood for it. And most likely that means that my period is about to come on or something.
That's understandable.
But other than that, I've been eating like fruit-based candy.
Cool.
Like it'll be like the fruit like slips or whatever, or like a fruit roll up, but it's really just like apples mushed or something.
Girl, I'm gonna need that fruit roll up.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. That Gusher, Scooby. All right, I'm getting sidetracked. Hold on, wait.
I'm getting sidetracked.
Gotta focus. So, long story short, a lot of things that I feel like we've learned, you can't learn it without experience. Like you really gotta live life. And that's the hard part to swallow. It's like you literally have to just you gotta go through it.
Yeah.
You really gotta it's literally like you gotta go through the rain to get to the other side.
And I will say, I'm really hoping that this podcast can help somebody that is potentially younger.
Yes.
Navigate those
younger or
those
older.
Younger or older. Because I think most of the time during the day, I think about my younger self, and I wonder would my younger self be proud of me or be happy about me. And sometimes I feel like, you know what? She'd probably be like, damn, we still
here?
We still here? Or she'd probably be like, damn, so I didn't lose the weight. Damn. And I'd be like,
that's negative.
I don't think it's negative. I think only because I don't think it's negative because I know my younger self always wanted to lose weight, but didn't know where to start. So I think that would be like something that my younger self would say. Not me now. Like I love who I am now.
I got
But
you.
my younger self would be like, damn, like we lose the weight, sis. Like, oh my
But
God.
even also acknowledging what your younger self would have said is a sign of growth. It's like, I'm not that
Yeah.
person anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
not
more mature.
yeah.
I understand what I'm dealing with. I understand the tasks that are important to me right now. You know, and it's just like understanding, really acknowledging your growth is a plus, and it really helps. For me, it helps push me forward.
Yeah.
Like I'll have thoughts and I'm like, I don't even believe that anymore. Like, why is that
Yeah,
popping
I
up in
don't
my
even believe that
head?
anymore.
But
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, yo, I don't believe. But then it's like, I don't believe that no more. Wow, when did that happen?
Right.
Like,
When
what
did that
experience even?
when did I grow up?
That's
when did I
when did you become so
when did
mature?
I grow up? When did I realize like, oh, this ain't the wave anymore?
Yo, it's really not. And the best part about it is, for me, that I've liked that I didn't realize that I like, is when somebody says something that I used to agree with, that I don't agree with anymore. And I'm like, well, here's a conversation for growth.
Yeah,
like,
that's a conversation for growth.
I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's why. So back to what you were saying about the hopes that this will help somebody. Yes, I do hope that this conversation helps somebody heal in some certain way, or at least gives them some advice on one thing that they can change,
right,
to move forward, and just to have faith that it's going to happen. You can heal. You can get through whatever you're going through. And me and Brittany, we ain't fully healed yet either.
But it's a journey.
It's a journey,
y'all.
But we here.
It's a journey, and I think a lot of people need to understand you don't wake up healed. It's a journey.
Yo, you don't wake up healed, and it's like a lot of people think also that, oh, once you're done healing, once you get through that wave, that's it. It's like, no, the goal literally is to just get through that wave and not even be prepared for the next. Use the same tools that you used to get through your last wave to get through your next one.
Right.
And realizing what tools worked and what tools didn't work.
Right. I'm about to start shadow work soon. I don't even know how to even
girl, I'm scared.
I know.
I'll do it with you though, but I'm
about to start shadow work soon because I know it's like kind of something that needs to be done.
Yeah, because trauma is stored in the body.
And I think I'm terrified because like life has been just very traumatic for me. So I was just like, all right, where do we even like begin?
Your body gonna tell you.
Not at all. Not at all. Because I hate when people say like I don't have any regrets. I used to be that person to say I don't have no regrets. But like I have regrets, but I also do know that if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be a certain way. Right. So I'm happy about
the acknowledgement is key.
Acknowledging that. So
cool, good. Yeah, shadow work is deep, girl.
Listen, it is.
That's just the size of you that you don't want to even look at no more. The past things that you didn't even try to deal with. It's like, no, I made it through that. We're not opening that box. That box gonna stay there.
Right.
But it's like the box is still in you though. You gotta open up that box so that energy can just leave. Like,
and I think my brain goes to like, what's the reason to open up the box though?
Right.
Like,
and we're also spiritual here. Just so y'all know, y'all haven't gotten the vibe.
Yeah, I'm like, we
believe in positivity in the universe. We believe in creation. I
definitely believe in like talking to my ancestors, the universe. Mm-hmm. I will say I believe in God, but I personally don't believe in organized religion.
I understand.
And that has come a long way for me.
That's a journey too.
That's a journey too.
Coming into your own religion and then sharing that with your family.
Yeah. Yo, I have a confession. I have not shared it with my grandmother.
That's okay. In time.
I have not. I don't know how. She's probably going to take that. I think she gets it now.
All right, now I want to share my experience.
But she hasn't.
My cousin, I'm not going to say their name. I'm very, very close with her. She was she is a very key rock in my life. Mm-hmm. And she basically raised me along with my grandmother.
Okay.
And that side of the family raised us as Christian. Go to church every Sunday. I freaking hated church because their church service lasted, as a kid, in a very naive way. Their church service lasted hours. I was over it. I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm not trying to be praising the Lord right now.
I got one better for you.
So I'm not done. Give me a second.
Mine was crazy.
So long story short, telling her was the hardest because I know how deep she is in her religion, and it's the hardest part was convincing her that I still believe in God, but I just saying the word God does not resonate with me. I
Mm.
say the spirit, I say the universe. I feel as though we're still connected with our ancestors. It's just me explaining that side to her was very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an interesting conversation. Like, it was deep. Like, when I tell you I had a knot in my chest when I was telling her, I felt like she might disown me and be like, you're a devil worshiper. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. I believe in the universe. I believe in the good. But at the end of the conversation, she saw me. Like, she said, listen, I don't understand it, but if you still believe it's a guy, you just use the word differently, so be it. And I was like,
I think my grandmother will have the same thing. For me, with church, growing up, I was very deep in the church. I was going to conventions. I was stepping. I was singing. I was miming.
You were miming?
Yeah, I was
I
miming.
See you doing that.
Wait,
with the white paint on your face?
Yes, videos on YouTube. I was miming.
I want to see these videos.
I guess I'll show you later. But yes, I was miming. I was doing everything. I was speaking at church. I was doing doing everything. I was feeding the homeless. Everything. And then COVID happened, and then I also was a representative of the youth because our pastor left, and I saw the ugly of the church. And then I realized, like, y'all can't be this ugly and then come back on Sunday and still try to hug it out.
That's another thing. It's like people some people, not everybody that's in the church, they be the worst people. Right. They be talking about each other.
And you know what?
And be doing the most shadiest, sinful, in the the Christian term, the most sinful-ish. Yes. And I'm just like, this is what this is about.
And I will say, if you want to see what your church really looks like, and I'm talking about the individuals in it,
don't donate.
No. What? Go to the church meetings. Go to the budget meetings. You're going to see who's real. You can see who's about God or who wants to just control.
Interesting.
And that's what I saw, because we had multiple meetings and pastoral meetings of trying to find a pastor. And that's when I saw, like, oh, y'all not really what y'all say y'all are.
Right.
And that made me look like, you know what? I think I can get by without being involved with y'all. And that's honestly what has been happening. Right. And like, it'll be a deeper conversation later, but
right. Well, these will be everything that we talk about today will be topics discussed in more detail in future podcasts. Right. So stay tuned. But in regards to the religion, even me going to different churches, it was the same vibe. Yeah. Like, it was, I loved the music. As I got older, I really understood the people more. I understood what the Bible was saying, but something just didn't resonate with me. But I don't know. I don't even remember how I came across it. I feel like it was probably because I grew up watching Charmed and Sabrina the Teenage Witch and stuff like that. As soon as I heard, like, the word, spirituality, the universe and the stars, I'm like, wait a minute. What is that?
What's that?
What is that? The planets?
I can talk to my ancestors. I need a deck of cards.
My ancestors are still here?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I can make an altar?
Yo. To just pray to?
Yes.
I can just speak out loud. Yes. I don't got to say the whole sermon.
Yes.
Cross my T's, down my eyes. Interesting. This feels more natural.
Yeah.
Then when the blessings started coming, I was like, oh, this is a manifestation.
Yeah, you don't need organized, basically organized religion.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
I hear you.
I'm not.
And we respect all religions.
Definitely.
All religions are valid in their own way. So shout out to y'all.
It's just that organized religion ain't for us.
Yes, no.
Like, you can always still have your, your faith and your ideologies, but
and we are respectful of that.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to go and be spiritual.
Say it in our own way.
Yeah,
that's all. So yes,
because it's been.
Please leave a heart in the comments.
Please leave a heart in the comments
if you resonate with what we're saying.
I
got my hands up in the shape of a heart. You can't see it. Just
can't see it yet because we will be doing visuals one day.
You can't see my face, but I'm not looking forward to that part.
But yeah, so that is the Whispers. That is that's what the Whispers podcast is going to be about.
And feel free to let us know what topics you want to be discussed out loud. What things have been heavy on your heart that you feel as though should have already been discussed and said out loud?
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely have a segment of the podcast where people ask questions and we definitely answer them.
Sure.
Because I think that would be great. I'm not saying that I got the best advice in the world because, girl,
we got the advice. Oh, yeah, wait. Disclaimer. We are not licensed psychologists. Yes. Not licensed counselors. We have no licenses whatsoever.
Nope.
Our license is our life.
Yep. Pretty
That
much.
we are speaking from life experience.
I mean, but I will not cut the term and say that we are not educated though.
Yeah, we are educated in our own life experience, and that's
Also,
what we're willing to share.
I will say I have like 6 years in mental health, but
yes, we both have experience in the healthcare field. She has 6 years. I have 7 years in the healthcare field. Doesn't matter the amount of years. Long story short, we're not just talking out of our butts. I was about to say something else.
I'll say it, out of our ass.
We ain't talking out of our ass. Listen, this is through experience, trauma, healing, through the process, and we just try to help.
Yeah, and this could be like also like Gloria said, this would be a therapeutic thing also for us as well.
Yeah,
to work through those traumas, to work through those
yes, ma'am.
Those moments that we just are just so stuck. I ask, like, little do y'all know, I ask Gloria for advice all the time because I really do. Like, a little bit about my business. I have a partner and he has a daughter, and I don't know how to navigate that. Gotcha. And I am navigating it all the time.
Yeah, and I asked Brittany for advice. I recently got out of a 6-year relationship, and it was very hard. Thought we was about to get married. Thought that his daughter was about to be my daughter, whole 9 yards, and it just didn't work out. It was like we were like 1 inch there,
right?
And then it was just like
almost at the finish line. Yeah,
almost at the finish line. I was like, nope. So we'll be talking about that in future podcasts.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that'd be a thing.
We didn't even give our backstory.
Our backstory of how we were friends.
So long story short, we met in high school.
Yeah, we met in high school,
and we basically never stopped being friends, but we kind of reconnected a little bit after we graduated,
right?
And kind of just let the relationship flow from there.
Even though our
shout out to Tyler,
our best friend Tyler believes that we are not friends.
That's my bro.
He was like, y'all weren't friends until I made y'all friends. That's not true. So bad. Gloria and I have always been friends, Tyler.
But no, we definitely love you to death, bro.
So I mean, yeah, that is our backstory of how we definitely got here, and just through the years, Gloria and I have been realizing that we got something to say.
We do. A lot to say.
And I'm not gonna lie, I like the yap.
Yo, we had enough of this BS. We trying to help our sisters out. Sisters, brothers, cousins, little people, older people. We trying to help y'all out because life's a trip. And we need a little more guidance. That's
Mm-hmm.
all. That's all I'm saying.
Not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. So that's why this is the Whispers.
Yeah, this is the Whispers.
Please stay tuned for more.
All right, we'll talk to y'all next time.
See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.